hey, who wants to de-stress this upcoming school year? That would be me. There's nothing worse than to be stressing out over your plans every single week throughout the school year. So in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how you can map out your whole school year and have a stress-free planning prep time this upcoming school year. So stay tuned. So how are we going to do this? We're going to be doing this through using one of my favorite organizational tools in the classroom, and that's Trello. Trello is a system that you can create lists and cards to organize your life. I love to use it for my small group management. You move kids here and there and all around, and with Trello, you can just slide cards around. So this year, I'm mapping out my whole school year using Trello, and I'm going to take you along so you can see how I'm doing. So step one to mapping out the school year is to go to your district's homepage and look for the school calendar for this upcoming school year. So I have gone to my website, our website, and I've pulled up our calendar so that I can go into my Trello board and use this calendar in order to start mapping out all of my boards for each month and start planning out my themes, letters, math, the whole scope and sequence of the year. So let me turn the camera around so that you can take a peek inside of my Trello board. Okay, so now here we are inside of my Trello board for me to be able to map out the school year. So when you're thinking in Trello, each of these columns is what they call a list, and you can move your list around. And underneath all the lists, they call these cards, and you can drag and move the cards around. So the first thing that I want to do in setting up my plans for the whole year is to use the calendar that I told you to pull up and start thinking of all the dates so that you can have it in your calendar. So when you're mapping everything out, you know for date wise. So I'm going to come over here. I know August is the first day of school and it is on August 10th. So I'm going to put it on August 10th. Save. And then I could put my last day of school, which I could drag all the way over here. And I know my last day of school is going to be in June. And the last day of school for us is going to be June 3rd. So I can go here to my dates and I can go to June 3rd for that and put that on there. So I know there's my first and my ending items. So another thing that I can do here is, where is my little thing with that? Since I'm recording, it makes it harder to find my little drag board. Okay. And then you can also do your holidays and put those throughout. So the first thing I do is I map out and I put all of my dates in the calendar. And the reason why I want to show you the calendar is you have a calendar view that you can see. And when I go to August, I can see, oh, there's my first day of school. You can even put meetings and stuff in here if you would like to keep track of it all in one board if you're wanting to have everything in one place. So that is kind of what that looks like. Let me close out my calendar. So then the next thing I like to do is I like to think about my themes of what I'm going to be working on. So usually in August, I like to do at school because it's a great way for me to be able to teach procedures. And then I like to talk about all about me. So that's a pretty good start to August. And then September, let's see, we like to do apples. So let's see, I know I have apples here. I'm going to put it towards the top just because I'm not sure where I might want that. And you can just kind of start dragging around themes that you want or add in your own themes because you can also add cards into the boards. So the great thing about this board that you're looking at right now, if you follow along clear to the end, you're going to be able to get a link that's going to take you directly to a board with all of these tabs already on it for you, and you can drag and drop and do your own template, and I'll walk you through how you can do that at the end of this video. So you're going to be dragging and dropping around all of your ideas. And I like to also do in September, I like to do kind of friend stuff because I want them to learn how to cooperate with one another. And Super Friend theme is always just kind of a fun way to do that with friends. So maybe I'm going to drop this down and I'm going to start that on the 3rd week and this for the first 2 weeks. So there's that. And then the second thing that I like to do in regards to each month is I have to think about the letters that I want to introduce to the kids, so that I like to introduce, like we're mandated to introduce certain letters at a certain time. But when I'm also doing themes and doing theme-based teaching, I also like to reinforce certain letters during that time because it's just kind of natural for them to be talking about things. Like if we're introducing apples, why not also be talking about the letter A, because it's naturally there within their play and what we're already doing. So that's what I mean by I will start to think about the letters that go along with all of this. And here is curriculum that's marked out here. So at the very beginning of the year, I'm going to sing their ABCs. So I'm going to put ABCs that we're going to be singing here. And you can copy these boards. So if I want to make another copy of it, I can copy it where it's already at, create. And then I'll have another one because it's like I'm going to be singing the ABCs probably for 2 weeks. And here is singing the ABCs. So there's that. Then, for Apple Week, we already talked about that. I'm going to be introducing, say, the letter A. And with apples, I might want to do maybe worms because there's worms in apples. I could do T for tree. So all those kind of things. I could do P for pie. So just think about those natural things that you want to talk about that you feel is an interest to your students. So if you've done a mind mapping before, and I can include that mind mapping that I do every year in a tag right up here, that you can watch that video as well. I do a whole mind mapping of all the interests of what kids are interested in before I start doing this process. And that helps me just really guide me for the next year, because typically from year to year, the kids are going to be kind of talking about the same kind of things. They're noticing things that are happening in the stores outside naturally. Maybe they went somewhere and they saw the ocean or any of those things that are kind of already the kids are talking about. And once that starts to happen, then kids will facilitate to one another with ideas. So that's where I'd get all of my mind mapping, which is all of these ideas that I curate and put into a list that I know kids are interested in. So that makes my planning easier. So then now when I have all of my themes, I'm thinking of, like I said, the letters. So me, that would be a good time to introduce the letter M. So I will introduce the letter M, and maybe B for body, because we're talking about body parts or senses, because our nose, we can smell with our nose, we can touch our toes, all of those things kind of go with our body. So I'll do that as well. And I'll do this all the way through. So my first step that I like to do is the dates and fill out all of my dates. And I don't want you guys to sit here and watch me do that because it will be like, this will take forever. So my first step is starting with dates to remember. My step number 2 is placing my themes that I naturally want to do with seasons, with what's naturally kind of going with kids. So I place those throughout. Then once I place in my themes, then I also think about letters that are naturally going to be happening so that I can introduce them to letter sounds, letter formation, all of that stuff kind of falls into place. Another thing that I like to do every single month is do a nursery rhyme. And there again, I'm kind of thinking about nursery rhymes. So if I'm doing all about me and at school, kind of a fun nursery rhyme for the whole month, I might be putting in Mary Had a Little Lamb. because that's just going to be kind of natural. And then for friends, let's see, we could do Jack and Jill might be kind of fun. Well, Itsy Bitsy Spider would be fun in October because you know they're going to be talking about spiders. So you just kind of start thinking about those kinds of things that also kind of go along with it for nursery rhymes. And the reason why I would like to do nursery rhymes, we know how important it is for them to be able to start having that great understanding of phonological awareness, rhyming words, repeated sentences throughout things. So that's why I like to include that as well. Then I also know I have to include math. And what I like to use for my math is the pocket chart math. It has a nice scope and sequence to it where it scaffolds children's learning as we're going through the year, where it just kind of keeps building and building and building. So for me, I am going to be doing, let's say here is Unit 1. I could start it in August, but I think it's going to be kind of a little bit too soon because I'm going to be teaching procedures and stuff like that as well. So I will probably just put, and I'm going to put it towards the bottom because it's for the whole month, and I'm going to click it into right at the end of my weeks for here. And then I know for October, I'm going to want Unit 2 to fall right after that, and I can just start planning out my math units right here, and that way I kind of already know the sequence of that. Another thing that I can add to this is well, here I like to add my morning messages and stuff because they're right here. And why do I like to have all this stuff here? Because I can link it to wherever it is in my computer. So if I know I'm working on Mary Had a Little Lamb, I can click on it and I can attach a card in here and let it link to. So if I put here and I want to attach that file to my card so that when I'm looking at my plans, I can easily find it in my computer. Do I need to print something for the children to do? Do I need to display something on my smart board that the children can do and read along with me? Do I need to make small readers for them? All those things kind of come into play, but I don't want to be searching and looking. Where do I have that in my computer? So when I'm doing all this planning, I'm also putting in attachments. So here I can put in attachments. I can search in my computer, and I know that I have that in my monthly membership, and I have it for nursery rhymes, and I can go to Mary Had a Little Lamb, and I can attach the new version of Mary Had a Little Lamb. Whoop, that's not it, but you can attach the PDF file to Mary Had a Little Lamb. And I want to come here and I want to attach this. And when I attach it into here and I save it, it takes a minute for it to upload, but then it's always going to be there. So when I go to look at my plans of what I have for the whole year, I know that I'm going to be able to find it. And if I click on here, I'm going to be able to see my whole unit on Mary Had a Little Lamb. So then I can decide on what I'm going to do based off of that resource that I have. So that's another reason why I like having it all kind of organized. Do I use this for my weekly lesson plans? Unfortunately, I have to turn in my weekly lesson plans. So no, I still do my weekly spread that I turn into admin. This is simply a way for me to plan out my whole year. I can see and I can know where my planning's going, where my prep time needs to go, and all of that good stuff. So that's kind of what I do to map out my whole year. And I just keep dragging and dropping those things around here. I'm going to move myself up here so that I can continue doing that. Since I already started that, I don't want to stop. So there's that. So how can you get your hands onto this thing so you're not having to reinvent the wheel? There's nothing worse than that. I have created a template that you're going to be able to copy and create your own board. So let me hop on out of here and I'll show you what that looks like. So if I go to my template that I've created, anybody that has this link, so the link will be included down below on the description, and all you have to do is hit create a board. So when you hit the create a board, you have to ask where do you want it to go, what do you want the name of it to be. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I just put map out your school year, and it's public, so it's a public link that everybody has access to all of this stuff that's inside of here. But you can create your own board and move all of these around. You can't move any of this stuff around until you've created, and you want to make sure you keep cards and keep template cards, and you just simply hit create. If you don't have Trello, you can get Trello, and it's free, which is great. And I'm telling you, Trello has been a lifesaver for me in my classroom. Okay, so I will link the link to you to be able to get your own template below. I'll also include a link to Trello to try, because it has been a time saver for me. I can use different boards for like my ideas. I also have a board that shows all of my ideas that I like to keep track of, whether it's art projects or whatever, that I kind of just have my own board for those kinds of things as well. I use Trello for my small groups, which is really nice because I tend to move my small groups around based off of the needs and based off of what children are needing to either scaffold or enrich or enhance, whatever you want to do with some of your small groups. And I tend to move them around a lot, and I don't like writing a list over and over and over again. So the great thing about it is I can just drag and drop and move the kids wherever. So you will not be disappointed if you get an account for Trello, and it's free. You will use it for many different things once you fall in love with Trello, like I have. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you find this resource very helpful to you. I look forward to doing more of these videos to help support the Trello lovers of the world. So make sure you hit subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos on Trello and how you can use it to save you lots of time and lots of stress in the classroom. So until next time, guys. Bye.